this video, I'm going how to install VS Studio extensions for the web design class. So VS Studio extensions are a way to make your life easier. So for example, spell checker, right? You have that for Microsoft Word, but there's not really one for code. But there are people who wrote some extensions that allow you to get kind of a spell checker for coding in HTML web design coding. So we're going to install a bunch of those and a few things that are helpful as well. So HTML, CSS support, HTML hint, formatter, and open in browser. They're all going to make your lives easier. If you're more curious about them, you could go on the settings and kind of read more about them. But I'm going to show you how to install these. So I'm going to move this to the side. You should have this in your class 1 notes so you can look at it as we follow along. So don't worry if you don't have any of these. These I have for extensions for different things I do at school. So you don't need any of these. But I'm going to search for my very first one, which is HTML CSS support. So to get to this view, you're probably, with this view, you're going to go down to this, the 3 boxes with one floating on the side. And then you're going to search for it. So the first one is HTML CSS support. So just type in HTML CSS, and it's the first one that shows up. Make sure it's the one by Ekmel, and I'm just going to install. And that's it. Now let's look for the other 3. So I'm going to delete that search, do HTML hint. This is our spell checker, pretty sure. So it looks like there's 2. We want the one from Mike Kaufman. Okay, so again, click the green install button, and that's it. HTML hint is done. Next is the formatter. So it's JS, CSS, HTML, Beautify. This is going to organize your code so everything looks pretty and readable. This has been a favorite for past students. It's going to help you out a lot too. So let's install that. And then we have one more. Last one is open in browser. This is just something that allows you to open your files in Visual Studio Code in your browser easily. So again, there's a bunch of them, but we're going to use the one by TechER. So install that. And now just to make sure you've got everything installed, let's delete the search bar. Look under your installed extensions and make sure that they're all showing. So I've got, CSS support, HTML hint, the formatter, and open in browser here. Okay, they all will pretty much work out of the gate. The only one we need to configure, especially if you want to keep your browser not to be Firefox, but maybe you like it to be Chrome. But for this class, we're going to use Firefox. So to make it work for just Firefox, if Firefox is not your default browser, you're going to have to follow these steps. Again, this is documented in the class 1 note as well. I'm going to go to File, Preferences, then Settings. And then we have to look at, you'll see User and Workspace. Make sure User is selected, go down to Extensions. And we're going to look for Open in Browser. Plug in Open in Browser here. So right here, it's going to be empty. You just want to type in Firefox. This way, this particular extension knows, okay, when you're using me, your default browser is going to be Firefox. But if you're not using me, it's going to be whatever your default is, like Chrome or whatever. So now you should have a project from right before that you did to create your first website. So if you got that working, one way to make sure it works is you now right click on it, and now you could do open in default browser. Then if that works, Firefox should launch. Firefox developer. And there's my very first website. looks like, and sometimes it's important to see how your website looks on different browsers because browsers show things differently. So you could also do open other browsers, and I can see what it'll look like in Chrome, and then it'll launch it in Chrome. That. All right. So that's how you install the extensions.